Okay, everyone, so what are some good ways to doodle? What are some ways to start a doodle? And what are some ways to keep doodling when you have a lot of things in your mind? So the first thing I like to do is to grab myself here a nice little Sharpie. And I'm going to be using a Sharpie today to give you an example of what I'm doing because it's most convenient and you can find these anywhere. So I've got my Sharpie and I've got myself a big sheet of paper. Now, the first thing I like to do is to not think of anything negative, just think of completely positive stuff. So whatever is on your mind, whatever is bothering you, don't worry about it no more. This is your world, as Bob Ross would say. So just think of positive things and just relax. Take a deep breath. Okay, that's step number one. Step number two would be to not worry so much about trying to make things perfect when you're drawing. For example, if I'm drawing a circle, let's say I'm drawing it, and I want to make my circle completely perfect. And so I go to make my circle, and I'm like, oh no, it's all crooked. Well, nothing is perfect, and nothing in life is perfect. So don't worry about trying to make everything absolutely perfect all of the time. Just be happy with what you have and keep working from there. Step number three would be to stretch. I always like to stretch my arms and my neck and my shoulders before I draw. I will be doing a video in the future showing you some stretches for your hands and other stretches for artists, but I like to get some stretches for my hand and everything, get everything all ready. And then after I'm done stretching, I always make sure that I've ate. That would be step 4, right? Yeah, step 4. I make sure I eat before I draw, make sure I'm not hungry. And a lot of times I'll have with me a big thing of milk or a big glass of water, and I'll have that sitting there beside me. And step number 5 would be to not be so worried about how things are going to be in the end of the drawing. Just think about what you're doing in the moment. Don't be so worried about the end result of the drawing. We can't make everything perfect, and that is related to one of the tips I talked about before. Tip number 6 would be don't forget your eyeglasses or contacts if you have any. I've started drawing before a couple of times, and I realized that my drawing was it was a bit off. Things didn't look right, and that's when I realized I didn't have my eyeglasses on. And then I put them on, and everything was much more clear then. So, tip number 7 would be to not be so worried about what you're drawing with. For example, I have here a Sharpie marker, and you can do with a Sharpie marker the same thing you do with anything else. You can do your stippling, straight lines, circles, anything really. And I see a lot of people, they get caught up in what they're drawing with. They worry so much about the utensil when it should be more about the person that is doing the drawing. You could have somebody that is extremely talented, or they have been drawing for a long time, and because they've been drawing for so long, they can draw something better than someone that has the absolute best pens, someone that has the best paints, and someone that is constantly worried about trying to make everything perfect. And as you can see here in this, I don't even know what I'm drawing. I'm drawing completely random shapes. Not too worried about it. And that would be tip number 8, is to keep practicing and not give up. You might have a style that is different than what everybody else has, and so just keep following whatever that is. As you can see in a lot of my drawings, I include a lot of stippling and a lot of marks like this that I make that give the illusion of darker areas in the drawing or you could do cross-hatching as that. But whatever your style of drawing is, just do it because you enjoy it. Don't get so caught up in trying to make everything perfect and trying to do everything else because it's trending or it's because it's something that someone else is doing. Just draw. Don't worry so much about trying to make everything absolutely perfect all the time. And tip number 9 would be listen to some music. That's always helped me when I'm drawing. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, depending on what I'm doing. If I'm really focused on a drawing that is hyper realistic and I want everything to be, way more detailed and I want things to be certain proportions, sometimes I'll spend a few hours not listening to any music at all. But when I'm doodling, a lot of times I'll be multitasking a little bit. I mean, sometimes. Most of the time I'm just focused on doodling and listening to music. But listening to music, just find something that is positive and puts you in a good mood. And even if you're in a bad mood, that is something you can do, is just draw when you're in a bad mood. Get some of the stress out, which would be related to tip number 10. Tip number 10 would be to use drawing as a way of getting rid of stress. If something is on your mind and you can't stop thinking about it and it's stressing you out and you're worried about what is going on, you're worried about bills and all this stuff, sometimes there's things in life that we can't change. Sometimes there are things that no matter what we do, sometimes it just stays the same. And worrying about it all the time, that's not going to change what's already happened. And I've had this discussion with people before. For example, sometimes people can talk about things that helps them, whereas for other people, talking about things doesn't really do much but make anxiety and things worse. Just as if your car breaks down, talking about the car being broke down isn't going to fix the problem. You have to start somewhere. You actually have to take action and do something. So tip number 10 would be to use drawing as an outlet to help you get through whatever is bothering you, to help you get through the day. Use it as a hobby to motivate yourself to be a better person. You don't have to, not everybody has to try to be some Leonardo da Vinci or a Bob Ross or something. We can all have our own thing. We can all do what we want to do. And with that, we can enjoy drawing and not be so stressed and worried about trying to make everything absolutely perfect. As you can see in this drawing here, it's a completely random mess of lines and doodles and so on. But if I keep adding things and putting lines here and making some shapes, and it'll form into something. As you can see here, I kind of have this idea of clouds and other things going on. But don't be so worried about everything so much. Sometimes you need to sit back, take a deep breath, relax, and just enjoy the moment and stop thinking and worrying about everything that's going to happen in the future. Be happy with what you have right now in this moment. I think too many people have the anxiety of trying to pursue the future, and then when the future is there, it's too late and it's already past them and they can't enjoy the moment. So I hope you enjoy these 10 tips. If there's any other questions you have about drawing, such as how to doodle and some other tutorials, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, share it with your friends and give it a like and a share. And yeah, I'm going to go work on some doodling. Going to stretch, eat, and do all those tips, which is the normal thing I do every day. And then I'm going to work on some drawing. So I'll see you around and you have a good day. Stay positive.